side quests are a fairly important part of the Borderlands series, providing cash, experience, and sometimes a special weapon with a unique effect. Side quests also provide a lot of entertainment value, at least in most cases. The DLCs in Borderlands 3 are chock full of side quests that do all of these things, but there's a few side quests in these DLCs that are 100% worth playing through every time you play through their respective DLCs. Hey Vault Hunters, I'm Constant Canadian, and these are the top 10 DLC side quests in Borderlands 3 that you can't miss. Starting off the list, we have Scratch, Don't Sniff. This quest comes from the 4th DLC, Psycho Krieg and the Fantastic Fustercluck. The side quests in this DLC are very small and relatively unimpressive when compared to the other DLCs, often being super short missions with minimal objectives. Scratch Don't Sniff though is actually a pretty funny mission, even if it only lasts about 1 minute and does only give you a bit of XP and cash. This quest, located here on the Sapphire's Run map, tasks you with scratching Krieg's 7-year-old unscratchable itch. There isn't really much to this mission, you simply just interact with Psycho Krieg about 5 times and then the mission ends. But there's something oddly funny about how uncomfortable your character gets during the quest. Definitely worth playing, if even just for a quick laugh. Of Blood and Beans is a side quest from Borderlands 3's 3rd DLC, Bounty of Blood. This side quest starts with you investigating what sounds like 2 people arguing right here in the Obsidian Forest. Once you get there, you find refried Reba and baked Betty. And of all the things to be arguing about, they're arguing about beans. Well, turns out Reba and Betty were fighting because someone or something took all of their beans to keep to themselves and cook in their own preferred method, and these 2 bean queens are just about ready to kill each other over it. Naturally, you, being a Vault Hunter, offer to help and follow a trail of empty bean cans to find the bean thief. After taking out the bean thieves, there is but 1 can of beans left, and it then becomes up to the Vault Hunter to decide what to do with it. Refry it, bake it, or destroy it in the fire. While each option rewards the same, the dialogue options are a little bit different in all the type of silliness that we've come to expect from side quests in these games. For completing this mission, you're rewarded with a moderate amount of experience and cash, as well as the Icebreaker Assault Rifle, a cryo thrower that is pretty bad, unfortunately. Regaining One's Feet is a side quest available in the Handsome Jackpot DLC in this area on the Grand Opening map. And this quest is about, well, regaining one's feet, specifically helping All-In Allen regain his feet. All-In Allen is a gambler down on his luck after lending another casino patron, Bruce, his lucky Jabber's Foot. However, Bruce never gave Allen back his lucky Jabber's Foot and doesn't even have the Jabber's Foot anymore. After searching for all the other lucky trinkets for Allen, we return to the slot machine with no increased luck, causing All-In Allen to lose his very last dollar. At this point, it's clear it has to be the Jabber's Foot. And the only money Allen has left now is the dollar he found in the toilet, so it's now or never. Well, as it turns out, Golden Bullion doesn't have the Jabber's Foot either, so we grab the obvious next best thing, his foot, because
everybody knows luck collects in the feet!
We bring Golden Bullion's foot back to Allen and get ready for one last spin. For completing this mission, we're rewarded with a moderate amount of XP, a large sum of cash, and the All-In Shield. An epic shield that, when damaged, has a 15% chance to drop a luck booster, increasing world drop luck by 1000% for 15 seconds, and a 25% chance to drop a cooldown rate booster, boosting your cooldown rate by 50% for 10 seconds. Heart of Gold is another side quest from the Handsome Jackpot DLC that can be picked up in this location on the Trashlantis map. In this quest, you help Joy, a defunct gunloader, achieve their lifelong dream, having a picnic with their friend. You see, Joy isn't like other gunloaders, who just want to kill everything they see. Joy just wants one single friend, and even after trying to befriend the Scrap Traps has had no luck. In this quest, you help Joy retrieve a blanket, an umbrella, a basket, some food, and some root beer floats, so that you two can have a picnic in a nice little corner of the trash compactor. After the picnic, Joy gives you a decent sum of cash for helping them fulfill their final wish, and you two say your final goodbyes before parting ways to continue along your path. This quest is somehow incredibly wholesome while also ending very, very sad. Definitely worth the playthrough when you run through the trash compactor. The Miracle Elixir Fixer is a quest from the Bounty of Blood DLC that can be found here on the Blast Plains map. This quest starts with you wandering upon Eli Last Name, who has fallen down and hurt himself, and requests for you to grab him some of Dr. Stanley's Miracle Elixir to help him get back up. Despite his wife Hina's many warnings not to do it, you go off to retrieve this so-called Miracle Elixir to help get Eli back up. Only, things don't work out quite that way. In light of recent events, Hina vows revenge on Doc Stanley's whole operation, and that leaves it up to who else but us to help her with that. In this quest, we become Dr. Stanley's worst nightmare, taking out groups of his army and sabotaging his operations. We then move on to his excess inventory to stop him from selling to anybody else. And finally, we take out his refinery equipment to stop him from ever making more. After taking out Doc Stanley's executive sale teams, Martha from accounting, Greg from sales, and Rita from corporate branding, we agree to a business meeting with the doctor himself, who makes a very, very bad attempt at a peace offering before eventually trying to shoot us with a rocket launcher and getting put down. In payment for your efforts, Hina gives you a moderate amount of cash, XP, and Doc Hina's Miracle Bomb, an epic grenade mod that is essentially Borderlands 3's Molotov cocktail. If you've made it this far into the video, chances are you're enjoying the content, and if that's the case, consider supporting the channel by liking this video, subscribing, and turning on notifications so you won't miss any of my future uploads. And if you want to discuss this video or anything else Borderlands related, I livestream every Saturday through Tuesday from 6 PM EST until ? I'll see you there. Moving on now to our first side quest from DLC 2, Guns, Love, and Tentacles, The Madness Beneath, found here on the Nagul Nishai map. This quest has you follow the mental downfall of Captain Dyer. Upon finding an AI chip implanted with Jerica Dyer, a captain from a long time ago, you learn that the real Captain Dyer led a crew of researchers into a cave. But one by one, they all started to be consumed by madness. And as Captain Dyer felt himself succumb to the madness, he implanted his memories into an AI chip and sealed off the cave to protect the rest of the planet from madness's grasp. The AI chip being activated means that the seal is breaking, and it's up to you, of course, to save the planet from madness's grasp once again. Upon venturing into the cave, you find echo logs of the real Captain Dyer having to painstakingly take out his own crew as they all slowly became mad. Luckily, Dyer had his crystal with him to stop him from going crazy. As you go deeper and deeper into the cave, however, you slowly start to realize that it wasn't the crew that went mad. It was in fact Captain Dyer himself that went mad and started to take out his own innocent crew. This quest is a surprisingly deep, albeit short, cautionary tale about how history is written by the victor, and even though it's good now, it would have been even more amazing as a multi-part questline within the DLC. For completing this quest, you are rewarded with a moderate amount of cash and experience. Up next is Do It for Digby, a 3-part questline from the Handsome Jackpot DLC, with its first mission being obtainable here on the Spend Opticon. Digby Vermouth, everybody's favorite jazz musician, has been drinking a little bit too hard after being trapped in the casino during the lockdown, and needs your help sobering up and getting himself back on track. After gathering the ratch eggs, paint thinner, and lime to make Digby a June pie jump starter to clear the fog, as he says, you find out that in his drunken stupor, Digby misplaced his prized saxophone Delilah, and can barely remember anything about what happened to it. After jumping from lead to lead, you finally find out it's in the hands of a wannabe jazz musician Bloody G, and go acquire it from them. After acquiring Delilah and delivering it back to Digby, he asks one more thing of you. Come with him to Foxy's to record a new record. Turns out, not everyone's a fan of jazz though, and a nearby metal band does everything in their power to silence Digby's jazz. That is, until you put an end to them. For completing each mission, you're rewarded with cash, XP, and for completing the final mission, you're also rewarded with the weapon Digby's Smooth Tube, an epic dull assault rifle that at one point played saxophone sounds when you fired it, but it was unfortunately broken with an update and never got fixed. The Legend of McSmugger is another mission from the DLC 3 Bounty of Blood that can be acquired here in the Ashfall Peaks map. Some say that McSmugger is the wisest cowboy to ever walk the lands, and if we can get the chance to learn from this legendary cowboy prophet, that would help immensely in our journey to stop Rose. When we find McSmugger, he tells us he can teach us his ways of true cowboy wisdom, but first we need to climb Mount Mariboshi. After initially refusing the call, we decide to take up the challenge of climbing this mountain. After walking for a bit, we take on a couple of devils and 3 badass devils, collecting their hearts. And at the peak of the mountain, the character you're playing will confess their deepest, darkest sin to the Father of Eagles, who then attacks them for such darkness. Of course, that means we now have to kill the Father of Eagles and take their claw. Upon returning to McSmugger and giving him the Father of Eagles claw, he congratulates us on our acquirement of true cowboy wisdom and rewards us by making us the new McSmugger. This entire quest is actually a big reference to the theory of a hero's journey created by author Joseph Campbell, which I don't have the time to get into here, but there is a great write-up on the Borderlands wiki that goes into depth on the subject, and it's a genuinely great write-up that I recommend checking out. Completion of this quest rewards moderate XP, cash, and the epic weapon, the Chalice, a Jacob's assault rifle that is pretty underwhelming. Next up, we have Money Back Guarantee, another side quest from the Bounty of Blood DLC, obtainable from this location in the Blast Plains. This mission begins with you receiving an offer you just cannot refuse from a very trustworthy salesman named Digby, who's offering you the best Jacob's firearm you could possibly imagine, and for only $15,000 too. That's dirt cheap. And on top of that, he's even backing it up with his money back guarantee. What a steal. Naturally, given the amazing offer, you fork over what is really a paltry sum to Digby, and he gives you the location of your premium Jacob's firearm. Only when you get there, your weapon is not really all that it was chalked up to be. Luckily, you've still got that money back guarantee, so all you gotta do is return to Digby and get your Wait a minute! Digby packed up and left shop. You've been swindled! Luckily, that idiot left a clue as to where he was going, and it makes it very easy for you to find him again, especially after teaming up with General Marks, another poor soul taken advantage of by Digby. And Marks has access to an artillery gun too, making it very, very easy to get your money back. Guaranteed. For completing this mission, the player is rewarded with moderate cash and experience, as well as the common shotgun, the Shotty, a Jacob's shotgun that shoots bullets about 1 foot before dropping to the ground in front of you, and it sucks. Our honorable mention for today is Raging Bot, a side quest available from this location in the Spendopticon in the Handsome Jackpot DLC. In this quest, you lend a hand to Yvonne, who was kicked out of a secret underground fighting ring for undisclosed reasons. Yvonne has a master plan that ends with both you and him becoming absolutely stinking rich. Simply enter into the secret robot fighting ring, win a few battles, and take a dive in the 3rd round so Yvonne can make it big with bets against you. A scheme as old as betting on fights. This mission is pretty solid and actually gives you the option to not take a dive in the 3rd round in exchange for a little bit more experience. But there's 2 reasons it didn't make the top 10. Firstly, part of the quest is betting on fights at the club, which is quick and easy, unless you're on higher mayhem levels. If you've ever tried to level up a Goliath at mayhem 10 or 11, you know that the enemies barely do any damage to their own overinflated health bars, which means that the 2 fights you have to watch to beat the rest of this quest are incredibly dragged out at higher mayhem levels. Secondly, it would have been a super fun mini side task to be able to fight in this ring at a later time, but the game won't even let you in the ring after the mission is over, which is a huge missed opportunity in my opinion, as it could have been an amazing place for a mini slaughter shaft. Anyway, with that out of the way, let's move on to number 1. Coming in at number 1, quite possibly the best DLC side quest in Borderlands history, we have Cold Case Parts 1 through 3. This questline is from the Guns, Love, and Tentacles DLC, and its 3 missions start all across Xylorgos, but the first part can be gotten from Burton Briggs on the Cursehaven map. This 3-part quest has you helping uncover Burton Briggs' biggest unsolved mystery as a detective. Starting off with both of you revisiting the cemetery where you first met and exploring an abandoned crypt to uncover a mysterious weapon with supernatural abilities. Using that weapon to uncover long-lost secrets of Burton's past life and relive through his past traumas. This line of side quests is a lot more than it seems like it'll be when you first start off, and I've tried my best to avoid spoilers here for this quest, as it really should be experienced firsthand. I'd go so far as to say this is one of the best side quests in the history of Borderlands games. And to top it all off, upon completion of part 3, you're rewarded with the 7th Sense pistol, a legendary Jacob's pistol that, despite being unable to have an anointment, is an insanely strong weapon for any character.